Hey, what is up guys, GuitarRock here, welcome back to another Brown Dust 2 video. I'm a little bit late to this, but we're gonna talk about the current best options, characters that you can obtain via Powder of Hope, and of course the PvP shop as well, because you guys better believe it, they added Luvencia right here. Okay, so Luvencia is currently one of the strongest character in the game. Alright, so if you are looking for a physical DPS, in fact, I think she's the character that basically makes physical characters extremely strong. Alright, not only is she strong in that regards, physical characters, I do think that physical teams right now has a lot of advantages that magic teams don't have. Number one is with the chain stack, right? If you are with the recent release of Wilhelmina, alright, in the equation, and then we also have Hikage. Both are very awesome chain stackers, and of course Luvencia as well. Now if you pair that with Zenith as well, we don't really have a magic equivalent of that yet. Alright, and also we got, so far for the magic equivalents, we have already gotten the AoE characters like Sacred Justia. Alright, we also got like Bunny Loen for that, but I hope that we're going to have like more characters that can do chain stack or stack like more than 10 times, right, preferably. But Luvencia right now is the strongest, or one of the strongest in terms of physical DPS or damage dealer as a whole. Now she is the strongest in terms of if you're talking about dark element, right? Right now, I highly recommend you guys to get one copy. She's literally a meta character. You can definitely benefit a lot from her. She's not only useful against bosses, she's useful in PvE stage as well. Now this is going to be for this particular one, the Deals Nature Luvencia. Alright, so the Deals Nature Luvencia is going to be, in my opinion, this is the better one. Alright, this range is something that you can definitely benefit much easier. It has way more coverage. Now both of the Luvencia are really strong. If you can +5 any of these, I would highly recommend it. So make sure you guys get this. Alright, this is a must-have costume. Very important. But since I have already +5 mine, you're not going to regret it. She's basically going to be the strongest one ever. Alongside with the Refining Crystal, highly recommend you guys to get that. You can also get the UR exclusive gear as well if you guys are interested in this. But keep in mind that the UR exclusive gear, I think a lot of people are not aware that it's not 100% that you will get 5-star, right? You can see it is split up among those percentages right there. It's only 15% chance to get a 5-star one. Alright, so let me jump into the I'm gonna go into draw and see if we can actually get lucky, because most of the time you don't really get lucky. Which is this one? Okay, look at this. I didn't realize I got so many of those. Okay, so which one shall this be? Zoop! Look at that, we got Julie, right? Don't really care, doesn't matter. But okay, let's talk about the more important one, the Powder of Hope, and of course the Golden Thread shop. As you can see, we got plenty of other characters right here to be added. Do I need this one? I do have plenty of Tears of Goddess, even after the recent one. I already got 20 of those, but I'll just buy more, right? So let's first talk about Red Riding Hood Rue. Alright, so how strong is Red Riding Hood Rue right now? Is she meta? Is she a must-have character? In my opinion, you can get away with not having her. She's a very unique character that gives crit rate 50% and also energy guard basically to protect your characters, right? Now the energy guard can be useful, for sure. Alright, if you are tackling like boss that do a lot of damage, energy guard is always going to help you to be able to survive. And she is going to be pretty good, right? But however, I feel like with the recent addition of LPs into the equation, alright, we got 50% crit rate for Helena, 50% crit rate for LPs. You don't really need to use Rue as much unless you're trying to, like, you know, in some situation you really need the 100% crit rate. Maybe you can do that. She is also going to be a little bit expensive as well, because first of all, if you get her potentially Liberate, you don't really benefit from much of the crit rate. It's still 50%. However, the max HP here for the energy guard do increase. Now, it is a little bit complicated, right, in terms of her as a character, Rue as a character, is because it depends on what you use her for, right? For me, I use her in PvP. So I use this costume in PvP. This is going to be the highlight because this is the evasion costume. And you can see this one also, it does do a little bit of damage right here, and this one does scale off enemies max HP. But the truth is, you don't really need to build her with max HP unless you're specializing in this particular costume, right? But if you are going to use her other two costume, now this one also scales off enemies max HP, which is fine, but this particular one, it scales off her attack, right? So it's like a little bit of a weird character, because like if you give her gears, you either give, you know, you want to, if it's a DPS character, you want to build them with attack, crit rate and crit damage, right? I mean mostly just crit damage and attack. You don't really need crit rate, because most cases we are going to be able to get a lot of crit rate. But then she also has this weird costume that also is like a defensive costume and scales off HP, so you might have to swap gears around depending on what you're using her for. But ideally she is going to be a much more like a advanced character, and most new players, I think like you might not be able to benefit from her that much. Now, do I recommend getting her, right? I feel like she's not a priority, alright? She's not bad, she can be used in some situation, but she's not a priority. In fact, if you are low on your golden thread, I would say just save for the next one, right? As you can see, this is going to be for 24 more days. Now, with that, let's talk about the Powder of Hope then, because I think there's going to be quite a number of interesting characters here. We got the Blood Glutton Justia right here. Now this one is going to be much more of a PvP character. If you care about PvP, sure, you can see this is a decent range, alright? It hits a 3x3 tile. You're also going to be able to increase your property damage, and you do fixed damage. Now fixed damage is not that good in boss situation, because it cannot crit. Alright, fixed damage cannot crit. It is going to fix in an instance, right? And it's also like, in this case, it's like cap. So you can see right here, it's mentioned right here, it's affected of the following effects property, chain, damage dealt, and that's pretty much right. Crit is not going to be able to affect it as much, which is a little bit unfortunate, right? Other than that, it is a decent costume. Justia do have plenty of costumes though, right? And then, you know, if you care about PvP, maybe that could be something that you can consider, but then we also have plenty of other costumes that you can use. I don't see why you want to have that particular one in, you know, in advance. Now, Lonely Survivor Lathel. Now this one is alright. It's not going to be the craziest one. The Hurt one is better, and of course Path of Vengeance if you care about, you know, trying to do a bunch of damage in the last night boss. But right now you can see for the Lathel right here, we got a, you know, +1, +2, +3 is going to have the SP reduction if that's what you're leaning towards. Lathel is still being used in physical teams here and there because of Homunculus Lathel. But then again, like, do you really need this particular one, right? I feel like there's really no need for you to get this costume. I think it's okay if you're trying to stack a bunch of chain. This is going to be one of his highest chain, right? This one hits 2 times. This one hits once. This one hits, okay, this one do energy guard. This one hits 3 times, and these two are the one that hits 3 times, right? Now, if you're trying to do chain, sure, alright, it could be a good one if you're trying to reduce the SP or whatever. But for me, it's not really a priority as well. I don't see this costume being like insanely crazy value. Get 1 copy if you want to, but other than that, I wouldn't really bother like upgrading it too much unless you love Lathel a lot or you use him a lot, right? Another one is codename Ellis. Now Ellis is not bad, alright. She is going to be one of the more unique character for fire type, but she got overshadowed by Leatrice, Rubia, and of course Anastasia as well. I feel like she's the least priority. This one though is not too bad, alright. You are able to get decent damage, and if you are getting this costume, it's mostly just to give back some battery, right? She can be used in PvP, alright, because she's a 2 SP, relatively low cost. If you're trying to, you know, tackle some characters in PvP, she can do that for you. Other than that, it's not going to be a costume that you use a lot. This other one, at least you can have some usage in some like tower situation where you reduce enemies' defense and magic resistance for 4 turns. But this one is, you know, if you want to, you can get like 1 copy just to give you back a little bit of SP in some situation. Now, Michaela on the other hand, I think is probably going to be, if I have to be honest, it's probably the best one out of these 4, alright? Now, Michaela is probably the strongest light type damage dealer in the game right now. Now, should you get this costume, however, it's going to depend on whether or not you have the other 2 costume. Now, the other 2 costume, this costume is going to complement the other 2 costume, right? You can see what this does is increase the crit damage, right? And then your other 2 costume is going to do even more damage. Now, all her costume comes with a little bit of downside, right? It's like a negative negative buff thing or like a debuff on herself because she do a lot of damage. So this one, she increased crit damage, but she reduced her defense and magic resistance. This one, you know, it takes up allies SP, alright, 6 points is a lot, right? But then she also does a lot of damage. This one, she decreased her current HP. So she's not exactly for beginner, but I still think that, you know, if you can snag this costume, I would highly recommend this one. However, if I have to pick between this one and the next one, which is going to be the Office one, the Office Michaela, that one is probably going to be better. Alright, Office Michaela has a very unique tile range. 3x3, sure, is cool and all, but we have a lot of other options. But for this tile range, this is going to be something that you can benefit from. Plus, this is a 2 SP unit that it can be used in a lot of situations, especially if you're trying to tackle Tower of Salvation for late game. She's going to be one of my favorite to use because of the 2 SP. Yes, the ally SP 6 points make her a little bit hard to use in boss situations like Fiend Hunter and guild bosses. But if you move her last, and let's say if your team is left with like 3 SP, she only basically take 3 SP because there's no 6 SP to steal. Alright, it doesn't go to negative in that case. So she is going to be still useful if you know how to reorient and rearrange her in that regard. So that is going to come later on in 10 days. So if you guys have to pick between this Michaela or the other one, I would highly recommend the Office one. But this one, it's not too bad, right? So yeah, with that being said, that is going to be it for this particular video. I am going to buy this particular one, hopefully +5 her, because I do like this. Wait, what does it do again? Oh, it's just damage. Oh, if it's just damage, then I'm not going to buy it then. I thought it's going to increase more crit damage. So if the crit damage is just fixed, then I'm probably fine with that for the time being. So yeah, let me know what you guys think overall of the costume roster. As per usual, I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe, give this video a like. Have a nice day. Goodbye.